Being a parent of a child with Fragile X syndrome, I often find myself describing it to another diagnosis, that is autism. Now the reason for that is because autism is much more known out there in comparison to what Fragile X syndrome is. However, although the characteristics can represent the same, they are two completely different conditions, and I'm going to explain to you the differences between the two. Autism is based on an individual's behaviour, so that can only be assessed and diagnosed through the way an individual behaves. So for example, lining things up, or fixating on certain colours, having sensory issues or concerns, being unable to tolerate certain noises, have sensitivity to lots of different things. Autism itself is a massive spectrum from mild to moderate, much like Fragile X syndrome. The difference with Fragile X syndrome is the fact that it's a genetic condition. So to have a diagnosis of Fragile X, it needs to be done through a DNA sample, either by blood or saliva. With it being a genetic condition means that it's hereditary, so it has came from your bloodline. It has came from the person that birthed you and above them and then above them. Now, much like autism, Fragile X syndrome is also a massive spectrum and goes from mild to moderate. Now, an individual with Fragile X syndrome can also have a diagnosis of autism. Whereas if you have autism, purely autism, you won't necessarily have a diagnosis of Fragile X syndrome, and that's where the two are separate. Because autism is based on behaviours, whereas Fragile X syndrome is based on your DNA and your genetics. And as a parent, for me, I often refer to autism to help explain Fragile X syndrome, because autism is much more widely known. If you or someone you know has been affected by Fragile X syndrome and you're looking to try and get some support, build a community, look for resources, then please do go to the Fragile X Society's website. They have an amazing, incredible team that are there to answer all of your questions. They have counsellors, they have for adult specific, they have child specific. Honestly, they are an incredible team that are there to help you. And all of their contact details can be found on their website at www.fragilex.org.uk.